It's Platt, and today we start pumpkin beer season. That's next to Platt's Beer of the Week. So the particular beer we have today is the Pumpkin Porter. It comes to us from the fine folks at Four Peak Brewing. We're heading into fall, the weather's cooling off, the colors of the leaves are starting to change, and that means pumpkin. Pumpkin spice lattes, pumpkin pies, pumpkin, and even in the craft beer world, it's pumpkin. So I thought today we would kind of get this party started and try a pumpkin beer. We have already tried a beer from Four Peaks before. We tasted their Kilt Lifter. It's a Scottish ale, really good beer. I really do like it. A little background into Four Peaks. Four Peaks was founded by a gentleman named Andy Ingram and partners in 1996. The brewery is located in Tempe, Arizona, inside the old Borden Creamery and Ice Factory. It's not too far from Arizona State, so a really great little location between, the things that facility had, between the tanks, probably the floor drains, structural things, and just being close to a big party college like that definitely was a good spot to have. They, however, did something the year before, 1995, that really kind of set the brewery up for success. They got the funds to start the brewery by flipping Grundy tanks. Now, what's a Grundy tank? Grundy tank was kind of a specialized fermentation tank they were using in Britain years earlier, kind of like a Bright tank in that kind of similar vein. Somehow they were able to find these tanks, for pennies on the dollar, flip them, and they took that profit to fund the brewery. Again, a cool little story there. 1997, they finally opened the doors, and their very first beer was Kilt Lifter, which still to this day is their flagship brew. Next year, 1998, they opened a restaurant and began kind of focusing on food and beer pairings. They were starting to expand the product line, so they had more to work with. Also, too, they were getting into the restaurant business. A few years later, in 2004, they opened the Scottsdale, they opened a grill and tap in Scottsdale, so now they're getting out Tempe, another restaurant, things are growing. 8 years later, in 2012, they end up opening a new production facility. Again, the growth was coming. The next year, in 2013, they opened one more location inside Sky Harbor. That's the airport there in Phoenix, so if you're flying through Phoenix, want a nice glass of craft beer, Four Peaks is there for you. And then, of course, eventually in 2015, they sold out to Anheuser-Busch. They are now part of their kind of craft beer wing, but they're now with the big boys. They are enjoying national distributorships. I see their beers everywhere now. They're not just kind of a Southwestern brewery, so good for those guys. Real quick, let's talk about some of the beers. They are generally lean to the maltier end. They do have a full line of beers, but they tend to specialize in the maltier beers. Again, their flagship beer is a Scotch ale, so it kind of makes sense. First is an oatmeal stout, 5.2% ABV. This beer comes on nitrous, and between the nitrogen, that always gives kind of a creamy mouthfeel, and then the oats in the stout, that's probably really nice, creamy, probably really good beer. Next is a beer called Sun Brew, 5.1% ABV. It's a Kolsch style beer. It's also a Phoenix Suns themed beer. Now, I don't remember if they actually had the team's official logo on it or not, but you can tell by the color scheme and everything. Phoenix Suns were the first pro team down there, so it has kind of a special bond with the community. Next is Cool Beans, Kuhl. It's built a little different, 8.2% ABV. This is a vanilla coffee porter, and they have their beans locally roasted, so that's always kind of cool. They weren't going to source the beans there, but they could roast the beans there, work with a local company. Those are always kind of cool little collaborations. And finally is Red Bird Lager, 4.5% ABV. This is Amber Lager. This is an Arizona Cardinal themed beer. I know they also have a Diamondback themed beer. Not sure about the hockey team, but they've been having some hard times, so I get it. Anyway, before we try this particular beer, though, let's check out the stats. So today, since we're talking about pumpkin beers, like it is pumpkin season now, and of course the fall, everybody loves the fall. And what's the most favorite day of fall? It's of course Halloween. And I know I probably tell you guys this every year, but I always mean it. If you want to have fun on Halloween, Vegas is the place to be. Thank God they haven't ruined Halloween yet out here. It's still just a blast. Vegas is fun on a Tuesday in August. You can see just really kind of random stuff going on. But they turn this stuff up for Halloween for sure. We generally have some kind of sporting event in town. There's usually some kind of big concert in town, but the show's on the strip itself. Every nightclub does the costume contest, and there's just girls everywhere as naughty nurses or tort reform lawyers or whatever, mechanics. They're all naughty. They all wear little skirts and they're all naughty. And it's just absolutely a buzz. I always tell people, don't go in the casinos, don't go in the clubs at night. Just get you a cold beverage. And there's more little spots on the strip now than there has been in a while. They've done a little better job of that. And just go find you a seat right on the strip and just watch the show. The costumes that people come up with is just amazing. And then again, you add alcohol and the other fun stuff you can do out here, and it just turns it up to 10. And if you get a chance, make it out. That's kind of my public service announcement for Halloween. All right, so let's get to a pumpkin beer. All right, pours nice dark brown like a classic porter would. Not much head, but that's probably, in a beer like this where you're adding a different kind of flavor, whatever, head retention kind of becomes a little more difficult, so understandable. Boy, a lot of nice dark malty notes. Not getting a lot of pumpkin there. Maybe some like brown sugar or whatever. Let's give it a try. It's nice porter, and I do vaguely get like pie seasonings. There's, like that cinnamon, some brown sugar and stuff. As far as pumpkin itself, I don't get a lot of that. And that's the problem with some of these beers. I brewed a couple of pumpkin beers. Is pumpkin, if you just used it alone or just ate like a raw piece, there's not a lot to it. And that because of pumpkin pies and stuff like that, now we're adding some other stuff. Now we're adding this, that, and the other. And kind of the same way they do with the pumpkin spice lattes and stuff. It's that pumpkin is the excuse for all the other ingredients kind of way. It's not that it's featured, it's just the excuse. And yeah, I think we're having a little of that here. Some people will go at it, they'll just cook pumpkin, just cook it, and it makes it a little more manageable. But if you just do that, again, you're not getting a lot of those other flavors. So a lot of people, like I've done like pumpkin pie filling puree to add into, I think a cider or something I did. And you get those other notes. But again, is it pumpkin that you desire, or is it all those other spices and notes? Like I think you could probably design a nice porter without having to imply pumpkin. That being said, though, people love pumpkin, what have you. But this one particular one, a good beer. I like the beer. Not getting a lot of pumpkin though, and so it depends on how hardcore a pumpkin person you are, whether you like this. If you just like good, nice dark porter with a lot of those kind of dark sugar notes and spice notes, or whatever, this is a nice beer. Goes down easy. It's 5.1 ABV. It's not a high alcohol beer, so it's something that's pretty drinkable. Nice, well executed beer. Gives you those classic dark notes you like in a bigger beer, but it's not heavy. Overall, nice beer, just not a lot of pumpkin. Well, I hope you liked this video. If you did, please subscribe down below. Also, please like the video because it lets YouTube know we're putting out good content. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or beers that you'd like me to try, You can leave them in the comment section, or you can always contact me on the Twitter page. Till next time, bottoms up.